Hi, this is a short and gentle yoga routine that can be done daily, any time of the day, and if you can do it every single day that would be amazing. Otherwise just a few times a week would make a really big difference. So we're going to start in our child's pose. Take your knees nice and wide on the mat and then big toes lightly touching behind. And take your time to just slowly and gently come down, stretching the arms out in front. Lay the forehead gently down to the earth and just wriggle your shoulders side to side. Taking a few really long and deep breaths. And staying in your child's pose, as you breathe in, feel your back body start to inflate with breath. And as you breathe out, your heart and your front body soften down. And to start off, you can let the belly be soft, you can let the whole spine sag down. And just allow the breath to slowly start to melt through the spine, feeling all the different areas of the body, the front, the sides, the back. So we'll take one more there. Take a deep breath in. A smooth, long breath out. And then from your hands gripping the earth, pull your belly in and up and slowly come up onto your all fours position. Slide the hands back under the shoulders and then bring the knees in underneath the hips. And we'll move to cat and cow. Inhale to lift your gaze forward, your tail up to the sky. This is cow pose. Really slowly edging into your cat pose. So pull your belly in. Start to round the lower back, the mid back. Press through the shoulder blades and dome as much as you can from crown of head to tail. And then keep that moving really slow and exploratory. Even as you look forward, the belly is on strong. So pull it in, navel to spine. And just allow the spine to sag as much as possible. Moving at your own pace, you might want to move quite rapidly if you're waking up for the morning, or you might want to slow it down if it's the evening time. If you've got any niggles, move even slower and really stretch into anywhere that feels tense. Breathe into anywhere that needs a little bit more freedom. And hold strength in the belly wherever there needs a little bit more support. We'll come back to a neutral spine. Hug your belly in, push your heart forward. Now we're going to shuffle the knees back about a foot. Tuck the toes, so you're just in a gentle high plank. From there, keep the elbows above the wrists. We're going to gently press ourselves forward. Elbows stay exactly where they are. Forearms stay where they are. You're going to come forward with the shoulders and then gently lower everything down to the earth. Hips and heart exactly the same rate, and they touch the mat together. Point the toes, inhale to your cobra, rising up through the chest. Make sure your hands are light here. You're using your back and your core to lift rather than pressing into the hands. Pull the belly in again, lift up a little higher. Keep the belly on and then gently recline back to the earth. Tuck your toes, keep your knees down. We're going to come back up to our high plank. So ideally hips and heart lift at the same rate rather than heart first. And then lift the knees, downward facing dog, stretch it back. Separate the feet to hip width distance. Bend the knees lightly, and then see if you can tilt your sit bones up to the sky. At the same time, sink your heels deep to the earth and pull your belly in so you neutralize the spine. There's no sagging. Press the earth away, and then hug the thumb tips toward one another. They don't move, but you'll feel your arms and your chest fire. From the hands and the core pulling on, you're going to pull yourself forward to your high plank. maybe onto toe tips if you want a little bit more, and then pop the knees down to the earth on your exhale. Keep the elbows above the wrists, push yourself forward, take a breath in, and then slow lower on your breath out. Inhale to cobra, point the toes, rise belly and back. Exhale back down to the earth. Tuck your toes, lift up, hips and heart same rate. And then child's pose this time. Untuck the toes, hips back to your heels. Take a breath in. And a breath out. Coming forward again, up to your downward facing dog. So tuck your toes, lifting the hips. This time I'm going to move with a bit more breath. Get a little bit of rhythm into the body. High plank on your breath in. Knees down on your breath out. Push forward and lower, inhale. Slowly all the way down on your exhale. Inhale to cobra, rising up. Exhale to release back to the mat. Back to high plank, breath in. Down dog, breath out. High plank, breath in. If you want more, do it without the knees. Lower on your exhale. Inhale to cobra. Exhale to release. Back to high plank, breath in. Downward facing dog, breath out. Nice and gently we'll walk our feet up toward the top of the mat. So 1 foot, 2 foot, just gently walk your way forward. Feet come to hip width distance. Take your hands to your shins. Make sure your knees are bent. Take a halfway lift as you push your heart forward. And then exhale, keep the knees bent and then just gently round through the spine, hang forward. Take opposite elbows, hold on to opposite hands, hold on to opposite elbows. And see if you can let the back of your heart soften down. Give your head a shake and check your shoulders are relaxed. See if you can tip your weight forward slightly more into the toes so the back of your legs feel stretched. Keeping those knees bent. Tilt your lower sit bones up to the sky. You can gently sway side to side here if it feels good. Just releasing any tension in the back, either from your night's sleep or from a busy day. And then gently release the hands to the earth. Slowly rolling to the sky, keep the knees bent. Hug your belly in, rounding through the spine. Keep the belly on to support. We're going to come all the way up. Knees stay bent the entire journey until you get to the top. And then when you get there, we're going to take our shoulders forward, up, back, and down. This time with the arms all the way forward, up, bend at the elbows, pull them back and down. One more time like that. Inhale, arms forward, keep the shoulders back, then shoulders up, all the way back and down. Keep the shoulders down this time. Inhale, reach to the sky. Bend the knees, bow yourself forward. Take your sit bones back and then drape your heart forward. Take a halfway lift, lengthen through the spine on your breath in. So hands to shins, most probably push your heart forward. And then hands flat, step yourself back to your high plank. Push yourself forward, take a breath in, knees down if you need, and lower on the breath out. Inhale to cobra, point the toes, rising up through the heart, and then exhale to release. Tuck the toes back to high plank, breath in, and downward facing dog, breath out. Right leg lifts to the sky, inhale to reach it up, bend at the knee and roll that right hip on top of the left. So keep your gaze neutral, your shoulders even, just from the ribs up and you're going to twist. Square off the hips once again, take a breath in, and then step that foot to the front of the mat, to the right hand. If you can only step half the way, just hold the ankle and gently push it forward. We'll take the back knee down to the mat, hands to the sky, inhale to reach up, and then bend at the elbow, pull open through the chest, Imagine you got hold of the chin-up bar and you're lifting the chest up and open. Gentle back bend. Keep the tail tucked forward and push your hips forward and down. Take one more breath in and then gently release, hands down to the floor. Lift your back knee. You're going to rise your right hand up to the sky. So lift it nice and open and roll both shoulders back behind you. See if you can roll back a little further, opening through the chest. Take one more breath in and then gently to release, both hands back to the mat. Step it back for your high plank. Pausing there as you come up onto toe tips, press into the hips, into the hands and dome your upper back. Just holding there in strength, take one more breath in and then downward facing dog, slide it back on your breath out. Left leg to the sky, inhale to lift it high, bend the knee and rolling open to the side. Lift both hips backwards, lift that knee up and the heel over, square the hips off again. Knee to nose, come forward and step that left foot to your left hand. Help yourself to length if you need to, and then back knee down to the earth. Make sure that ankle's as far forward as the knee. Hands to the sky, inhale to reach up. Pull the elbows back and down, grab hold of your imaginary chin-up bar, and then pull your heart up and open. So you're squeezing between the shoulder blades here. The shoulders pull back, the heart lifts, but keep tucking the tail underneath, and with a press of your front foot, pull yourself into depth of the hips. So you're not sagging, you're pulling yourself deeper. Take one more breath in, and then gently release. Hands either side of the front foot. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, rise your left hand to the sky. Inhale to roll it open, and then shoulder blades behind your back. Bend the top elbow, pull it back behind you a little bit more, get open through the chest. Take one more breath in, and then gently release on your breath out. Hands to the floor, step it back for your high plank. If you want more, come up onto the toe tips. We're just going to pause here. Press into your hands so you can dome the space behind your heart. Holding here for 3. Just for 2. One more breath in. And then take your knees to the earth together this time. And sit your hips back to your heels, child's pose. Let the elbows sag down. Let everything rest. We're going to come up into a seated position, so you're still in kneeling. Bring your spine up, and then tucking the toes underneath you, sitting back on the heels. Just going to get some movement of energy right to the toes of the feet. This can be quite intense, so if it's too much for you, you can bring your hands out in front. Otherwise, we're going to sit here just for 5 breaths. Close your eyes, back of hands onto the back of the thighs, onto the top of the thighs. Counting your breath. And slowly making your way out. Take your hands out in front of you and just pitter-patter the top of the toes to bring some energy back. And then come back into our downward facing dog. So tucking the toes under, lifting the hips high to the sky. Right leg reaches up to the sky. Inhale to lift it high. And then this time bring it forward to your half pigeon. So the right knee comes to the right wrist and the right foot comes back a little from the left wrist, so it's on a diagonal backwards. If you find this quite intense, you can bring your back knee, so it's 90 degrees as well, but if you can, keep that back leg straight behind you. You're going to be on your hands to start, lift open your chest as you pull your shoulders back, and then exhale, come down onto your forearms. So to intensify this pose, this front shin, rather than on the diagonal, will become parallel to the front of the mat, ankle in line with the knee, and as you lay forward, you're always inside, between the knee and the ankle. If you want to make it less intense, you bring that right ankle back towards your right thigh, so that's quite a short angle here. Either way, you might start on your forearms, and then over a few breaths, you might make your way down to your forehead, maybe with the arms outstretched. Another 5 breaths here. Gently coming back up as you're ready. We'll take that right leg back to the sky. Inhale to lift it high. And then pop it back down for your downward facing dog. Left leg rises up to the sky. Inhale. And then bring that shin forward for your half pigeon. So anywhere between level to the front of the mat or big angle backwards, depending on your flexibility. So just work with what you've got. You don't want to be in a place where you're gripping and straining just to hold on. You want to be in the place where it's challenging, but you can ease into it, you can let go. You also don't want this back hip to be raised off the floor too far. So if you're falling over to the side, it means you've gone too much. In that case, bring the ankle back. You want to have both hips square to the earth, and then allow yourself to come down. Again, another 5 breaths. See if you can focus on the length of the breath, the whole of the breath, and just simply count these 5. See if you can extend it to the same length as mine. When you've taken your 5, gently start to rise up. We're going to sweep that back leg around to the front of the room this time. Paschimottanasana. Knees slightly bent, feet facing to the sky. Inhale to reach up. And then bow yourself forward, exhale. Just grab hold of whatever you can. Knees, shins, ankles, feet. And then pull your shoulders back as you push your heart forward. And then round and bow. Just a gentle pressure here through the hands, so you're not pulling and tugging. You're just being really gentle and soothing, encouraging your body to get lower. If it feels okay, you can let go of the hands, let the head dangle. Let the spine round if you prefer. And then gently rolling your way back up. We'll make our way down into Shavasana, corpse pose. So just making your way softly down to the floor. Make sure your heels are wider than hips. There's no bobble in your hair that's underneath you. Hands are wider than the mat. And tuck your chin to your chest slightly as well, so it's nice and long through the back of the spine. Give your hips a shuffle if you need to, if you feel it tense in your spine or your core. And if you feel like your lower back doesn't want to release here, you can bend up the knees lightly. Make sure they're still wide and let the knees knock in on one another. That will be more restful for your lower back. You're going to pause here for a meditation. So you stay there. So closing your eyes. And just start to focus on your breath. So something about your breath that's really easy to be aware of. It might be the sound of the breath. It might be the feeling somewhere in the body. It might be the belly rising and falling. Anything at all. And you're just going to allow your focus just simply to rest on whatever that is. So, for example, you're hearing the breath. See if you can hear every little detail. For the entire of the inhale, the pause at the top. The entire of the exhale and the pause at the bottom. As though you're really, really interested in your breath. You're going to focus on it in that way. But also without the concentration, without effort and a furrowed brow, more with ease and with softness. If you find your mind wanders to thoughts, ideas, plans, anything at all, see if you can draw yourself back to whatever your focus was. As well as thoughts about the day or plans of things to come. Often thoughts about whether this is doing anything, am I doing it right, those kind of things can come in. See if you can just allow yourself to be assured that there is no right and wrong here. And just these few minutes of gently refocusing on the breath time and time again can have a massive, massive impact on how you feel and your energy levels and your calm levels, calmness. So just another 10 breaths. See if you can be completely aware of the breath the entirety, counting in your own mind those 10. Have some more time. Stay here for another 5-10 minutes if you can. Otherwise, to awaken, just gently start to wriggle fingers and move toes. Stretching overhead or hugging of the knees, whatever feels appropriate. And then making sure before you come up that you roll to one side or the other so it's less shocking for the nervous system. And whenever you make it into your seated position, just hands at heart center and in respect for the power of the practice, bowing our heads into each other, we say Namaste.